Unfortunately, it's that time of year again, and I thought I'd resume a project that has been shelved for a while. I have a go at it from time to time and then I lose interest. It's this set of berry lights. It's a very nice set of lights, but the problem is they're not waterproof. If you see here, there's heat shrink on the wire, but the heat shrink lets the water in, and eventually the bulbs will rot. So what I'm doing, you notice there's two piles here. On the left hand pile are the ones that I've insulated with self-amalgamating tape. I've insulated the connections. All of these are done. And on the right hand pile are the ones still to be done. So, quite a task. I think I've done more than I haven't done, but I've done 2 this morning and I got bored with that. Tools for the job, pair of scissors, self-amalgamating tape. This is actually a very poor roll of self-amalgamating tape. Normally when you stretch self-amalgamating tape it doesn't break. This gets to a certain point and it breaks. This is typical eBay stuff. Here's a typical bulb, and there's 4 wires going into this heat shrink, but the water can get in there if the bulb is lying downwards like that, the rain can get down those wires, and they rot the connections off the leads, because the connections on the leads strangely are made of steel, not copper, and they rot. So the object is to try and prevent the water from going down there. It's no good taking some self-amalgamating tape and just wrapping it around those wires, because the water will wick along the wires and down the gap between inside the heat shrink. So what you've got to do is to separate each wire. Wrap self-amalgamating tape around each wire in turn and then squeeze it together, which makes it bond, and just give it a final wrap with tape. That's what I'm going to try and do. So first of all, I cut myself a small piece of self-amalgamating tape. It doesn't need to be very much, probably about that much. Yeah, that's it. So I suppose, what's that, 2 or 3 millimeters, and you can stretch it so far, but this cheap stuff, it doesn't stretch very far before it breaks. Now take the lamp and try and wrap it around but you have to sort of stretch it at the same time. So it's quite a fiddly job, especially with my huge Celtic Irish fingers. No, the focus is terrible, isn't it? It's just driving me nuts, this is. You get the idea. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to go right up to there. As long as there's a little wrap of tape around each piece of wire. You know, there's They always say, don't work with children and animals. And I say, don't work with the sunshine. Because it's so unpredictable. We've just had a rainstorm. And now we're having brilliant sunshine. And I really should have done this against a black background. And I'm standing up as well, which doesn't help. Right, that's all 4 of them now. Got a little bit of self-amalgamating on. So the water can't get between them, because when I squeeze this up, that self-amalgamating tape is going to bond together into a rubbery mass quite quickly. And then finally I give it a wrap of self-amalgamating tape around the outside, giving it a pull, stretching it as I do it, and going over the heat shrink part, and just bonding all this together. Well, that's a rubbish job. That's how long it's taken me to do one. Just imagine how long it's taken me to do the previous 50. The nice thing about this set is that the other end of the heat shrink, where it goes round the bulb, it's actually encased. The whole of this globe is encased in a sort of a resin, so that end is completely waterproof. The only weak spot is this end here. And I've done many sorts of lights. These are probably the best. But I've done many sorts of lights with these ends in exactly the same way as I've just described. And they've all survived the outdoors. The only thing that ever goes wrong now is the bulbs blow. So before I put this set into service, I shall be checking just how much current they take. Well, that was a marathon session, and I've now got really sore fingers, but all of the lights have now been done. I've had this set since at least 2019, possibly before, so it's taken me 3 years to weatherproof all these lamps. They don't look particularly bright, so I'm guessing they're not taking too much current, which means they should have a decent life. I will check the current in a moment. I've just used my crappy meter to measure the current, and the total current through this string is 27.8 volts open circuit across the whole lot, and it takes 24 milliamps. Now there's 100 LEDs, 2.7 volts across each LED, so I presume that strings of 10 with 10 strings in parallel, which suggests that each string is only taking 2.4 milliamps, so they should last a very long time. If you're wondering why it's gone purple, it's because I'm losing the light in here. It's quite late in the day. So all I need now is a Christmas tree to put them on. And, well, it's not even Advent yet. This is the first year that I've ever got my lights ready before Christmas. Amazing. Anyway, if you liked it, thanks for the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, tell me why and give me a thumbs down. Bye.